So most people were told, work hard, keep your head down, and one day everything will just work out okay. But millions of people did exactly that and still ended up tired, underpaid, underprepared, and financially confused. So today I want to say something completely different. Hard work is not the problem. Hard work without financial vision is the problem. You see, the person working two jobs is not lazy. The parent sacrificing for their children is not lazy. The immigrant building from zero is not lazy. But if hard work is not connected to ownership, if it's not connected to protection, retirement planning, tax strategy, investing, and financial literacy, then hard work can become a treadmill. You move every day, but you don't always move forward. This is the reason why I funded this incredible mission of 1 million people project for financial clarity. You see, the first truth is this: productivity does not guarantee prosperity. This is the first truth. Because for decades now, workers have become more productive, the economy produces more, technology improves with AI and everything, companies scale even faster. But does that automatically mean the average worker captures the benefits? The Bureau of Labor Statistics measure labor productivity as output per hour worked, or how efficiently the economy turns work hours into goods and services. In 2024, non-farm business labor productivity rose 2.3%, with output rising 2.9%, while hours worked rose only 0.6%. That's coming from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The deeper point is this: productivity can rise without the worker becoming financially secure. The Economic Policy Institute have documented, a very long-term gap between productivity growth and typical worker compensation since 1979. Their argument is that workers helped create more value, but the gains did not flow evenly to typical paychecks. In a very simple term, you can work harder in a richer economy and still not become rich. Then the question is why? Because wealth does not only reward effort, wealth rewards position. You see, the second truth is this: income is not wealth. Most people think the goal is to make more money, but income is only what comes in. That's why we call it income. Wealth is what remains, grows, protects, and compounds. A person can make $200,000 and still be broke if every dollar has a job against them, aka debt, lifestyle, taxes, emergencies, mean there is no planning at all. A person can make, money and still in peril. Another person can make less, but they build assets, protect income, own equity, and prepare for the future. The Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances is one of the major sources used to study family income, family net worth, debt, assets, and household balance, sheets in America. The most recent full SCF listed by the Fed is 2022 survey. You see, the Fed's 2022 SCF related analysis shows wealth gaps remain very, very large. The typical white family had about 6 times the wealth of the typical black family and about 5 times the wealth of the typical Hispanic family. That matters because it proves a hard truth. The hard truth exists in every community, but wealth outcomes are shaped by access, ownership, inheritance, education, systems, and opportunity. So when people say just work harder, that's incomplete. A better question rather should be: hard work connected to what? And that leads me to the third truth. The system rewards leverage. This is a very different angle here because the world does not pay only for effort, it pays for leverage. Leverage means this: time working for you, money working for you, people working for you, systems working for you, media working for you, assets working for you, knowledge working before mistakes even happen. You get the idea here? You see, hard work says, I must do more. Leverage asks, how can I or how can what I do produce more than once? In other words, I want it to be repetitive in production. Examples: a worker gets paid once for 1 hour. An owner builds a system that earns even while the owner sleeps. A creator makes one video that teaches thousands of people. Like, I had a viral video that went to 40 million to 80 million people, one video. A family literally, buys protection so one tragedy does not destroy the decades of work put in. An investor owns an asset that grows over time. This is why financial literacy matters. This is the reason I chose to fund, the 1 million people project, for financial clarity, because the world needs this type of knowledge, especially for a lot of the world's population that weren't born with a golden spoon. They need something to tap into to understand how money truly works. You see, because without literacy, people confuse motion with progress, and they are two different things. They stay busy, but there's no result. They are exhausted, but there's no productivity. They are very sincere, but there's no growth. But they are not even positioned at all. You see, that takes me to the fourth truth. Hard work without protection is very, very fragile. See, a person can work hard for 20 years and lose ground because of one crisis. And that's why I'll say one more time that everyone is one event away from a disaster: a medical emergency, a job loss, death in the family, bad death, no emergency reserve, no insurance, no estate plan, no retirement structure. This is where many, many families are exposed. Financial literacy is not only about investing, it's about protection. You cannot build legacy if every crisis can erase your progress. So the other matters: clarity before confidence, protection before pride, structure before speed, legacy before lifestyle. This is one of the reasons I say financial literacy should be a civic right, just like any other rights, just like the women's rights, just like the gays' rights. That financial literacy should be a civic right, because people should not have to suffer a crisis before they learn how vulnerable they were. That takes me to the fifth truth, which is this: hard work can still fail if decisions are emotional. Many people do not lose financially because they lack intelligence. Sometimes the most smartest people are the poorest, and sometimes the most smartest people are broke. They lose because of what? Many people lose because of pressure, fear, shame, family expectations, comparison, social media, impulse, desperation, bad advice. A financially blind person makes permanent decisions under temporary emotions. They buy things that look successful. They are pretending to be successful is rather than being successful. They avoid planning because it feels painful. They delay retirement because I will get to it later. They borrow without understanding the cost. They invest in things they cannot even explain. This is why my message is not just make more money. That's not my message. My message is see better, decide better, and live better. Because when vision changes, behavior changes. That takes me to the sixth truth. The American dream requires more than one effort now. It does. This section must be very careful because I don't want you, to just look at this from a negative perspective because the dream is not dead, but the rules have changed and you need to understand the rules of the game. Housing today is more expensive. I live in Florida, in South Florida, and I can guarantee you the price of homes today is just not the same anymore. Very, very expensive. Retirement is more personal responsibility more than the government getting your back. College debt changed. No, the starting line for many because most people are out of college right now. The only thing guaranteed is what? It's a student loan. And you look at automation and AI, they're changing the workplace. So this is now the creators and digital economy. So anyone that is not in that space, most likely AI is messing with your job employment. Healthcare costs can damage families nowadays because it's very expensive and people can't even afford it. Inflation exposed how thin many budgets were. So, a recent Wall Street Journal NORC poll reported deep pessimism around economic mobility, including that only 25% of Americans believed they had a good chance of improving their standard of living, according to the article's summary. Whether someone's agree with every poll or not, the feeling is real for many people. I am working hard, but I'm not getting ahead. And this is a sentiment from one end of the country to another. And that's why this conversation really, really matters. The answer is not to stop working hard. That's not the answer. The answer is to connect hard to ownership, to strategy, to skills, networks, assets, protection, financial education, better rooms, better decisions. I mentor a lot of people, and I'm getting calls, and I had conversation with, some of my mentees, about to put money away in multiple directions. And I have to say, pause for a moment. Let's process this. In my processing, I discovered that these are very, very good people. They have learned exactly how to make money, but the skill set of sending their money out there like a soldier, to go fight and bring back home, a multiplication is missing. So money comes and money goes. So I'm making a decision to get people to go into better rooms, into better space, proximity, so you can be around the people who actually speak the language and live the kind of a life that you want to live. Now, of course, that takes me to the next part of it, which is solution. You say financial clarity is a necessity, and we all need this. You say everybody needs to learn how to earn. That is increase income, increase your skills. Everybody needs that. Number two, you got to learn how to keep. You got to control spending, control taxes, control debts, and your lifestyle and everything that's leaking in all of this. You got to control that. Number three is to protect. You got to have emergency fund in the event anything happens. You got a house, you got a roof problem, you got a foundation problem, you got a car problem, but you have an AC problem. You have an emergency that you can go to take your business for you. This will include insurances, legal structure, family planning, etc. Number four is growth. You need to have an investing, where your money is growing. You have ownership opportunities in other assets, businesses. You have retirement accounts and apparently you have assets. Number 5 is called transfer. We'll call this legacy. We're not here forever. One day, we're going to be out of this planet Earth. So you need to make sure you have legacies, beneficiaries, estate planning, mentorship knowledge. Hard work belongs in step 1, which is earning, making the money. But wealth requires all 5. The problem is this: a lot of people spend their time in number 1, earning, and more earnings, but they are missing keeping, protecting, growing, and transferring. So therefore, they are not able to experience wealth the way they ought to experience wealth. That's a mistake. Most people were simply taught, and the school system taught, the earning part of it. That's it. Very few were taught how to keep, how to protect, how to grow, and how to transfer. And that's why hard work alone will fail, because hard work alone is not sufficient. Let me close with this. I am not against hard work at all. I believe in it. Hard work built families. Hard work built businesses. Hard work built nations. Hard work built me. A young kid from Nigeria in Africa, 3 meals a day was a struggle, holding my shoes as a kid. Hard work built me to who I am today. You see, I'm building the 1 million people financial literacy project because even my humble background reminds me of one thing: that if you have access to good financial literacy, you have access to freedom, because all it would take therefore is execution. But if you don't have the access to that knowledge, unfortunately, it's like a man running blind, and you know how that goes. So here's my challenge. Here's my challenge. Do not just work hard this year. Work with vision. Work with structure. Work with ownership. Work with protection. Work with a plan. Work with purpose. Because hard work gets you tired, but clarity can get you free. If you enjoy my content, I'd like you to subscribe to my content. Follow me, because I am headbent on making sure that I impact 1 million people and give them access to financial clarity so that they can make the right decisions for themselves and for their family. This is Dr. Kehinde Thomas, the founder of the 1 Million People Project.